Hey there, Brett here with Quarter Properties, your Myrtle Beach area real estate expert, and welcome to February 2026. Wanted to hop on here today and get you a quick market update for our January numbers as those have come in. It was definitely an interesting month. I'm sure we're trying to thaw out here. It was unusually cold during January. Had a lot of flight cancellations at the Myrtle Beach airport, just bad weather across the whole country in general. So just a really interesting month, and we've got some interesting statistics here that kind of give us some insight maybe into where we're headed for the first quarter of 2026. So first thing we're going to look at is the closings, all right? So in January, we had 643 single-family homes close out. Last year was 649, so pretty much a flat month. All right, when we look at condos and townhomes, we had 290 close out in January. Last year, we had 338. So the condo closings were down 14%. So that is not a good sign initially when we kind of look at that number. When we look at the price, this is interesting as well. Single family homes closed out at $369,000. Last year, they were at $378,000. So we did see a price reduction there of $9,000 in our average closing price. All right. Looking at condos and townhomes, pretty much the same. In January, they closed out at $237.5 thousand. Last year was $248,000. So we had an average price reduction of $10,500 on your condos. So when we look at the closings, they were way down on the condos and the price, okay? Now, what about pins? How active was the market for pending sales? How many contracts went into place? Well, I just told you we've had some really rough weather across the country and in the area, a lot of flight cancellations. So what did that do to the pending sales? Well, single family homes, we had 930 pending sales. Last year, we had 792. So that was up 17%. So the single family home front was very busy. And I'll tell you, it was especially busy in the first, say, 10 days or so of January until the weather really started to come in. And then that slowed things down. So if we didn't have the weather, I'd be real interested to see what that number would have been. Now, when we look at pending sales for condos and townhomes, we had 417. Last year was 420. So flat on that front, okay? Now, how many folks are putting their house on the market, their house or condo on the market? What'd that look like in January, all right? In January for single family homes, we saw 1,337 single family homes come to market. That was up 9.4% from the 1222 last year. So when I look at the single family home market, our closings were up 17%. Our listings were up 9.4%. So an active market there, okay? When we look at condos and townhomes, we had 869 condos and townhomes come to market. Last year was 815. So this is really where in that market, you've got to kind of hit the pause button and really look at it. Again, we'll recap. Our closings on condos and townhomes were down 14%. The prices were down $10,500. The pins were flat, and we got more inventory being added to the market. So as we look at that, that kind of spells some more definite headwinds for that market, after we had a couple good months where some inventory was trending down. So is it a buyer or seller's market? All right. When we look at single family homes, our inventory is now at 3.7 months of supply. All right. This kind of stayed consistent from last month. All right. This is an active market. I would say this is still what I would consider a seller's market. Okay. 4 to 6 months is usually considered a healthy supply of homes. If you're at 3.7, you're just below that. That's still kind of a seller's market. I will kind of add a footnote. When we look at the price reductions in single family homes, that's primarily being driven by new construction price reductions. All right. When we look at this January versus last January, new construction homes had an $18,000 lower price than the previous year. So most of your price reductions we're seeing are on new construction, not resale homes, okay? So the inventory is still a little bit tight on single family homes. When we look at condos and townhomes, the months of supply jumped up to 7.3 months. Again, not as many closing, more being added to the market than previous year, inventory increasing. I don't like these signs for the condo market, especially when you consider in 2025, overall tourism was down 3%. And then that basically reduced the revenues by 10%. So what happens is you have less travelers coming to the market. Then you've got more folks competing for occupancy. So they drop rates to try and get folks in their units. So that revenue was down 10%. And guess what? They're forecasting the same thing for 2026, another 3% drop in overall tourism to the area. So if you're considering buying a condo as an investment property, we really need to take our time on that and make sure we're analyzing that and basing rental estimates off of, not necessarily what was done in 21 or 22, but what's going to come in for the future, and base your offer price well off the inventory and future rental expectations. So, all right. I hope this information helped. If you're interested in keeping up with Myrtle Beach area real estate and or just Myrtle Beach in general, or any interesting real estate tips, if you'll click the like button if you like the video, and then if you will subscribe if you want to kind of keep up to date. And if you want to browse homes, we've got the absolute easiest way to keep up with Myrtle Beach area new listings and browsing homes right there in the description. You can click on that link. If you're interested in keeping up with your home value, we've got an easy link right there that you can click and kind of get updates on what's going on with the value of your home. If you want to chat about buying or selling in the Myrtle Beach area, you've got my cell phone number there and you have my email address. So shoot me a message and we'll be talking to you soon.